My name is Muhammad Mokaev. I'm 20 years old. I want to be youngest champion in UFC, and I believe I can.
Another big time. Is that wow! Yes, but now there's that suplex. That has been out. Mokaev smiling before he smiled.
Muhammad Mokaev, one of the most dominant wrestlers the flyweight division has ever seen, and one of the hottest prospects in MMA, was cut from the UFC, despite an incredible win streak.
Mokaev is the guy that he'd want to bring back to the UFC because he said his contract is totally done now.
Well, I think the PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy.
Undefeated in his career, Mokaev was on the precipice of fighting for a world title.
I want to fight for the belt, and I hope UFC give me a new contract.
Before he was ruthlessly cut from the UFC roster. But why? Join us as we take a closer look at the reasons for his departure from the UFC and uncover whether or not the young Punisher deserved what Dana said he had coming. Muhammad Mokaev, one of the most hyped prospects in modern MMA, built his reputation through an astonishing amateur career before making waves in the UFC.
I had 23 amateur fights, 23 wins.
Born in Dagestan but raised in the UK after fleeing war-torn Russia as a child,
My dad had political issues, and that's why we moved over here. And changed my life.
Mokaev's journey from the amateur ranks to the world's biggest MMA promotion is a story of relentless drive and undeniable talent. Before turning professional, Mokaev established himself as one of the greatest amateur fighters in MMA history.
I'm of recognized MMA Federation, pound for pound ranked #1 amateur fighter in the world.
Competing under the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, he went 23-0 as an amateur, capturing multiple world and European championships.
You will see me soon, smashing people.
Overwhelming opponents with relentless pressure. In 2018, he won the IMMAF Junior World Championship. And in 2019, he claimed his second IMMAF world title.
Two-time champion of the world in the blue corner.
His amateur success drew comparisons to Khabib Nurmagomedov, another Dagestani-born wrestler who dominated before transitioning to the UFC.
Many people compare me to Khabib because we are both undefeated. We're both from Dagestan. I don't like when they say next Khabib and all this, because the thing I achieved in amateurs, he didn't do this. They call me like Muhammad Mokaev, not Khabib too.
Mokaev made his professional debut in 2020, signing with Brave CF, a prominent Middle Eastern promotion known for developing future UFC talent. He wasted no time proving himself. His aggressive grappling and submission skills stood out, leading to inevitable UFC interest.
This guy has such a great foundation, Paul. Cannot wait to see how he adapts, though, to the bright lights of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
In 2022, the UFC signed Mokaev, recognizing his potential as a future flyweight contender. He made his debut at UFC London against Cody Durden and delivered a statement performance, securing a first-round guillotine choke just 58 seconds into the fight.
And I go inside the cage, I'm too strong for these guys. That's why I feel confident.
Mokaev followed this up with dominant wins over Charles Johnson and Malcolm Gordon, showcasing his elite grappling and resilient striking.
I want to fight. I just want to fight anybody.
Despite his early success, Mokaev faced adversity in his fourth UFC fight against Jafo Filho. After dominating early, he found himself in a deep knee bar that nearly ended the fight.
He looked at me, and then Herb didn't say, he didn't tap, so I shake my head, and then he rejoined the grip like a choke position, but even stronger, very strong, and then another four cracks.
Showing tremendous heart, he escaped and finished Filho with a rear naked choke in the third round, proving he could handle adversity, a key trait for future champions.
I will fight all the way, don't matter what.
So, where did it all go wrong? In the build-up to his fight with Manel Kape, the two fighters had a heated back and forth. It all stems from an incident where Manel Kape allegedly headbutted Mokaev in the street because Muhammad said he would slap Manel online.
Ele deu uma pelada na cabeça do Mokaev na rua. Não saiu isso na internet? Já tô contando, se fode.
5 days before my Alex Perez fight, I met with Manel. He headbutted me.
When Manel threatened to keep attacking Mokaev on sight,
Vai ser a segunda vez que vou lhe bater, mas calma.
Mokaev felt like Cape was trying to bully him.
So I'm not all the guys who somebody can bully me. I come from the roof background. Like my life was tough, and I give no to anyone to bully me,
So when the two next met during their fight week, Mokaev pretended he wanted to squash the beef and take a photo with Manel, only to sucker punch him once he got close.
It just felt weird. The whole situation kind of felt weird, but I turned my back to talk to Oban Elliott, and then all of a sudden, when Manel posed for that picture, Mokaev like sucker punched him.
In the hotel, so I told him, let's come take picture. And once he came, I dropped him.
But it didn't end there. The two also nearly came to blows at weigh-ins, and even in the pre-fight announcements, only to have a pretty lackluster fight once the two were actually allowed at each other. There was also the awkward moment when Manel Kape went for a knee bar, and Mokaev reacted by pulling down Kape's shorts to hold the position.
Immediately take the point, because he grabbed like my short. He stopped the attempt of submission.
But from the shorts, I didn't realize what I was grabbing. So then I think I ripped his shorts, right?
Needless to say, Dana and the UFC were unimpressed not only with the fight itself, but also with Muhammad's antics leading up to the fight, and Mokaev was released from the organization.
Listen, the stuff that played out here over the last several months, it started at the PI and other stories of this breaking out, plus many other things. These guys don't want to re-sign him.
Would you be interested in, keeping him around in the fold?
I think the PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy.
But it wasn't just pre-fight brawls that got Mokaev in the UFC's bad books. Even other fighters confirmed that the way Mokaev interacted with UFC staff seemed entitled and arrogant, and weren't surprised they were not sorry not to sign him.
Is that stuff that you've seen, or just stuff you've heard about how he treats people? Is that something that's sort of like common knowledge amongst the fighters in your division?
I don't know if it's common knowledge. I saw it when I fought on the same card as him, just the way of treating the nutrition team and that sort of thing from the UFC, and just like little things that's like disrespectful. That, yeah.
Upon being released, Mokaev released a video explaining he was apologetic for his behavior in recent years and wanted to make it up to the UFC matchmakers by offering to come back and fight for free.
I said, whatever I've done at the hotel, I'm ready to pay for that and fight next fight in UFC for free. Whatever trouble I made.
Only to have Dana quickly shut that idea down.
I guess you can look back now and regret it, but you did it. You did it, and you put yourself in this position.
So, did Mokaev end up in the PFL like Dana predicted? Well, no. It turns out even the PFL had caught wind of just how difficult Mokaev is to work with, and flat out declined to even entertain signing the 24-year-old prospect.
It's in the know, and apparently he's just a pain in the ass to deal with, and so, no, we're not interested.
Muhammad instead ended up signing with Brave FC, the same promotion that he started his professional career in, and secured a dominant first-round victory upon his return. But despite Mokaev's desperation to prove himself and get back to the UFC, he seems unable to avoid continuously shooting himself in the foot. Mokaev was vocal about the low pay while he was in the UFC, something that Dana obviously loathes. But now he has been cut, he continues to throw shade at UFC by claiming to be on triple the salary. Now he is back at Brave.
Is he got somebody to pay him 3 times more than he needed to be paid to do a job, and he doesn't want to be here anyway. He wants to go back to the guys that already broke up with him and apparently pay him 1/3 of his value.
Which doesn't make much sense if your goal is to get back to the UFC. Muhammad Mokaev was the first ever undefeated fighter to be cut from the UFC, and your opinion may vary on whether or not you think he should have been released or not. Whilst it remains true that other fighters are able to get away with similar shenanigans to Mokaev without being cut, Muhammad is not a big draw for the UFC, and nor would having him as champion do much to reinvigorate the flyweight division in the eyes of the public. Truth be told, we may well see Mokaev back in the UFC at some point in the future. It is not impossible that he becomes so dominant outside of the UFC that fan intrigue forces the UFC's hand into resigning him. But even that is something well off in the distant future. For the time being, it appears that the Punisher himself will have to sit in time out for a bit.